and doesn't work very well at all for for recording.
Okay.
So, come on, honey. There we are. It's coming up now. I'm going to have to retitle it because right now it says Rachel card reading. But that's not. This is the Rachel podcast. Okay. Beautiful. So Sheowich is Misha Naomi of Dream Waters Wellness, and I'm here today with very special from being a corporate human into a epic healer, owning her capacity to her fullest. And so Rachel is one of my apprentices in my recent year and a day initiation container, and we met a couple of years ago and have had a couple of different interactions, and it's just been exceptional watching Rachel just blossom and bloom and come into these different modalities and these different layers. So within the mystery school structure, there's the white cord, which is the year and the day initiation. Then the second step is your red cord, and that's where you gather your modalities, you gather your different skills, you gather your tools, and you come to conclude what it is that you are here to bring in this incarnation as your expression or as your healing modality. And so I really look at where Rachel's at right now is in the process of her red cord. So with that being said, tiny bit of backstory, I'm just going to pass it over to Rachel. So how you doing, Rachel? And how did you come into this space that you are living in at this time?
It's been quite a journey for me, and I have to say I loved the whole year and a day process. I don't think I realised until our initiation just the depth and transformation that it, I guess, created for my life. But I guess where I'm at right now is I actually have a brand new life in every single sense. In every sense, new house, new, as you said, I left the corporate world where I dabbled in, well, I worked pretty much full time from when I was 18 and left in March this year. So, and I turned 54 on Thursday. So that's a long time. But I just always knew, and a couple of times I actually left corporate and went into coaching and learnt different, a couple of different healing modalities. But for me right now, it's really stepping into my truth and why I'm here in the world and what I'm here to share, and my contribution to humanity, I suppose, is really, in a nutshell, what it is. And yeah, as I said, my life's fully changed just with moving out of corporate, just being in a beautiful relationship. And for me, the last sort of 12 years have been a real deep dive into self-discovery and self-healing that's brought me to where I am today.
Beautiful. And so where would you say like your spiritual path began? Like what was the beginnings that drew you in? Like you've mentioned that you left corporate at certain times to learn about coaching, to learn about these different things. What were some of those things that were your first little baby steps into the spiritual path?
Beautiful. It's interesting because in my early 20s, I wish I knew the name of the book. I came across this book that it was actually a self-healing book, and it just, and I would have been maybe 23. I'd moved away from my family. I lived in Perth, and I read this book and I was like, oh wow, there's just so much more to life than this. And so I, in and out, really sort of dabbled in a whole lot of different spiritual practices. Meditation for me was always a really big thing. And it probably was in my early 30s when I, interestingly enough, I met Yuki, and we just started doing these little meditation groups, and I realized that I was like having these most amazing astral travel experiences, and so I just in that moment realized that there was so much more. And then dabbled a little bit, and then it would have been 12 years ago when my marriage fell apart, and I just went. I had to really look at how do I heal? How can I heal? What there is so much more. And so I actually did a coaching course, and that was a beautiful spiritual experience as well, with meditation and just really understanding that we're so much more. I probably since my early 20s have had this real resonance with Buddhism. And for me, that's, even though I hadn't really studied it until recently, it was like a knowing that I had, and I just knew that there was just more. So yeah, so it's sort of really dabbled, and then probably for me, would have been 4 years ago, I just sort of jumped in more terms of just learning and growing as a person. And I actually started doing this. I'm a fan for Tony Robbins as well. So, and he's got some amazing teachings. And I was at an online event during COVID, and this man came on to do a meditation. It was on the last day, and everyone kind of built up, oh, this meditation is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And this man is Master Co, and he did this meditation called Meditation Twin Hearts. And because it was an online event, there was like 800,000 people on a Zoom call throughout the world. And we did this meditation. And I was sitting in my study here in Melbourne, and it was one of the most profound experiences of my life in terms of oneness, and feeling all those 800,000 souls. And after that, I did that meditation every day.
Yeah, so special, so special. And then, so we met a few years ago. So you've experienced a couple of the different processes that I do with drum journey and Eurasian shamanic practices. And so, can you speak to any of your experiences within either solos and either the different drum journeys you've experienced, or the bigger transformation that was the initiation container?
Our first session together was a past life regression and past life healing, and we actually did that 4 weeks after my father transitioned and passed away. So it was quite a significant time in my life. And what came up in that past life was quite astounding in terms of the patterns that I was also creating in this incarnation. It was just incredible, actually. So and what it did is it just made a lot of sense, because I would have these thoughts and go, I don't understand where that comes from. And having that past life regression really just solidified and helped me to understand. And with that, I'm someone, when I understand something, I can transform it and heal it. So,
Yeah.
and I remember you saying to me, it's 8 months and a day where this whole process will come into full circle. And it literally was that. So
Beautiful.
it was my relationships with different people, it just my relationship with self, these thought, in that we explored how I passed away. So I understood that those thoughts that I was having, and so that for me was really that deeper healing, if that makes sense. So we did that, and then I think it was last June we did a drum journey for Yuki, and that was amazing. And my intention was to manifest a relationship. And yeah, I'm in the most amazing, beautiful relationship with this gorgeous man from Mexico. And, who would believe he's from Mexico City, moved to Australia 12 years ago to Adelaide, then moved to Melbourne, and our paths have crossed and we're kindred spirits.
It means I was born hummingbird. Yeah. Yonah, see, I was born, and then Colibri. Hummingbird. Yeah, that was the most beautiful synchronicity in the beginning. Yeah, in came the word Yonasi, and at first we couldn't identify it. It came, there was many, many meanings, many, many things. And then when I was in Panama, that's when I was like, is there Yonasi in Spanish? And they're like, yeah, Yonasi, I was born. And so, and then the fact that you attracted also because Colibri is the space of the ancestors. And then so, and all the ancestral connection works that we do, as well as the dream alignments to just magnetize the perfect things to us. It was just so beautiful that you attracted your angel. And yeah, so precious, so precious. Yeah. And then we had the next call out came, and Yuki had already done the year and a day process.